Okay. Hey there, everybody. How could you have forgotten it's Tuesday? I mean, really. I almost forgot it was Tuesday too, by the way.
I only remember because you send me a text, Mary.
That's why I tag everybody. Okay.
Yes.
Just that little
And
reminder.
thank God you do, because I never remember that it's Tuesday
Mhm.
until my watch alarm goes off at 7:30 and says, Mary, 8 o'clock. Mary, 8 o'clock. And I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go put on clothes. From work, the first thing I do is throw my jammies on.
Uh-huh.
And so I look like a bum.
You guys got the message like hour and a half ago?
Yeah.
Because that's when I remembered. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So before we get started, I just have one little thing to say. Chris has fulfilled her mission. I now have a written thank you on a napkin with her kiss. So thank you. Yes.
And you'll notice it's an open mouth kiss.
And it's going to go right here. And go right there where everybody can see it.
Okay.
Okay then.
Okay, carry on.
So
Carry-
we had a couple of things. One of the requests was to do some funny dog drool stories, and you know what? Yeah, we all got them.
They're so gross.
Of course, the most fun stories, Denise, are the ones that you watch happening to somebody else.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so mine is, of course, did not happen to me. But we were grooming this huge newfie. I mean, the newfie was the size of a bus.
Why is it always a newfie? That's what I want.
Because I have a newfie one too.
All right,
Me
and
too.
so I had the back end, and the other groomer had the front end, and she was short, so she was like sitting on the floor, and she fit like right underneath his head. Okay,
Oh.
and she's brushing out the dog, and I just watched the glop of drool hit her hair. And if you've never had that stuff in your hair, it's like glue.
Oh yeah.
It's not water soluble.
No.
Not.
Ah,
Not.
And I'm like, you know what? I think I would rather take out what comes out my end than what's coming out your end.
Oh no, no!
You know,
I'll
each
take
myself
the
over.
drool.
I don't
oh,
know.
I would reach myself
take-
over.
no,
so
okay,
fine.
Wait,
Yes.
y'all are up here acting like drool is the grossest.
Chris went into another dimension.
Yeah.
She is. She's in a slower dimension than the rest of us.
Semi-clear.
Okay. Just somebody.
What's she saying? We can't even. It's not the
Okay,
same.
wait. Now that I'm back, I will tempt fate and say it again.
Okay.
Y'all are acting like drool is the grossest semi-clear sticky substance that can come out of a dog.
No.
No, but the topic was
Not,
specifically
but it is
drool.
much more common.
correct.
Yes, I will. Now, yeah, my probably my best drool story, just because it amuses me deeply, is I went to Westminster one year, and I'm walking from like one area to another, and there was a junior handler with a newfie, and there was this little boy who looked about 8 in a suit, and he was, I'm sorry, little boys in like full suits, cute as a
Adorable.
damn button. And he's walking along with this newfie, and it's got a goober.
A shoelace.
It's just coming down, and I'm like, wait, Voomp, and I just grab it and like wipe it on my jeans. I'm like, all right, you're good to go. We don't need to get that on your suit. And I just carried on because it does not bother me.
And fair enough. I probably would have done that, but I would have used a napkin because no.
No.
All right. So my worst drool story. I have a lovely Cane Corso that I groom every month, and he loves grooming, lot. So I share those pictures of him on my table being such a happy boy with his mom because I'm like, I want you to see just how much your dog loves being groomed. But
We still talking about Drool?
We're
yeah,
not.
Okay, I'm like, I don't think we
I
are.
think we are.
well, in this case we are.
Okay.
But he also drools a lot and he smears on you to clean himself up.
Nice.
So because I have 2 torn rotator cuffs, I groom him as low as I can. So he wiped his face all on my belly
No,
down to
please
about
no.
my thighs.
Oh,
And then one of the other dogs was going home. So I had my assistant, who also has a torn rotator cuff, come stand with him so she could stay with him. And while I went and get the other dog, because she can't walk him, it's just too big. So I took that dog out, and the man just kind of went, "Hi, Inch." And I'm like, "Hi, good to see you." And he's like looking up here, and I'm looking at the ceiling like, what, what, what's up there? I'm like, is there a fuzz on the ceiling? Because we just had the deep cleaner come like yesterday. Holy crap, she missed this? Because she doesn't do that. And like, and I'm like looking for the fuzz, and I don't see any fuzz. And I'm like, what, was there a spider? What, what the hell is going on?
It's like, oh.
So it's all over my entire midsection, all the way down to my groin. It's just,
Oh, so it 100% looks
Oh, yeah.
like we're not talking about Drool.
and he's just like, Sue. So then I went to stand behind the counter, and he's finally like kind of looking at me, sorta, and he's like, "How much is it for today?" And I'm like,
Had you known, you could have been, double.
right.
"Well, no, that wasn't even his dog." So he doesn't have any idea what the hell is going on. He has a golden retriever, and so with like tight, nice lips, and it's not a thing. And so I check him out, and he's like, "Have a good day." And I'm like, "What the heck just happened?" And I go back into with Hoochie, and Angie's like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Ange." And I'm like, "Oh
The
God."
horrible part of it is that it stays glistening. Like it
Yes.
doesn't even dry down because
No.
it's not water soluble. It's more like silicone. It's so gross.
So he's just
Yeah.
dropped all over my belly and groin, gloppy. And I'm like, that would explain why Annie's dad was being so weird. And she's like,
So the question I have is, did he come back?
his wife brought the dog in next time. I haven't seen him since. But I did tell Hooch's owner, I'm like, so you know, this is what your dog did to me today. She's a hairstylist. She's my hairstylist. And she literally died. She was on her knees in my grooming salon, sucking air. She couldn't even breathe. So she had already handed me the money, and she tips very well. And she's like, can't suck air, pulls out another 20 and hands it to me.
Throwing money.
And I'm like, no, it's fine. She's like, and I went to get her dog, and son of a gun, he came out of that crate, went, "Hi, Ange."
Oh, I did it again.
Again. And I'm just like, dude, really, really, and he's right at groin height. So, and I just walked out and I looked at her and I'm like, and she's like, oh God, I don't pay you enough. And she just, and I'm like, it's fine, just go. I'm gonna. She's like, yeah.
All the many reasons to keep a change of clothes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, yes.
I keep a change of clothes. But I was wearing my
The change of clothes.
Right.
I had already changed from the first time he drooled all over my belly and groin, thighs down to my knees. So yeah, I at this point, I mean, because I have everything: bra, underwear,
Mhm.
socks, like the whole dealie.
Because you could get peed on. You don't know.
Oh yeah.
You don't know.
Rabbits, you can't walk a rabbit before you take
Right.
them
Oh, yeah.
out. You can't say, okay, honey, it's time for your groom and we're going to walk. And that's not a thing. And so oftentimes when I take a bunny out of the crate, I hold them to soothe them. And they go, oh, I feel so much better. Here's peepees for you. I actually sent Amy a picture of a baby bunny I was holding, and I didn't realize until after I had sent it that the baby bunny was peeing on me in the picture. I know it had peed on me. I didn't realize it was in that picture.
Picture.
And you could see the pee coming out of the bunny and peeing all over because I have the baby bunny up on my boobs and it just peed all down everywhere. And she's like, you're getting peed on.
You
And
know.
oh, it's pee.
So mine doesn't really involve drool per se. I mean, we've all had our drool stories and our anal gland stories. This one is special. So it's about the middle of my career. I'm working in a salon environment. And the very first dog I have is a Shih Tzu shave down. Now, the Shih Tzu had the biggest, juiciest eye booger things, like the size of $50. I'm not even trying to kid you right now. So, I'm like, okay. So working on it and blah, blah, blah. This is in the morning. This is my very first groom, right? So I'm grooming and blah, blah. And, you get hair on you and stuff. So whatever, you're just in the thick of it. And that's back in the day when I was actually a power groomer, which I would not condone today. But, I've done all the things. So here I am with all these dogs on the schedule. My very first groom is the Shih Tzu, take care of it, blah, blah, blah. Go through the entire day. Now, mind you, I work with 8 other groomers, 8 of them. Talking to them, having lunch with them, the whole 9 yards, greeting clients, taking dogs in, checking them out, the whole 9 yards, blah, blah, blah. We are just cleaning up. Now, when I talked to clients back then, I really talked to clients. We knew all about their life, the whole, you know the deal. So we're cleaning up. It was 7 o'clock. I had been there since 7 in the morning. 7 o'clock, we're cleaning up. One of my friends, she's like, oh, you have something on here. And I wore glasses. And she went, ew. And I looked over in the mirror, that $50 size eye booger was on my glasses all day long. All day. Talking to clients, trying to be somebody, trying to be professional. Had the giantest, obvious, most grossest, disgusting eye booger on my edge of my glasses, right out of my line of sight.
I've had one time where being peed on by the cat was actually to my advantage.
Mhm.
It was my first appointment. The cat peed on me. All right. And I had to get to the next appointment pretty quickly. And I knew this guy was a pain in the butt. Not the dog. The dog was fine. Okay. So I get there and I know my jeans reek of cat, and jeans too, mind you. Okay. Reek of cat urine. I go, it's in a shop. I grab the dog. I don't even see anyone. And then I go to get paid. Now, this guy always makes me wait to get paid because, he's a busy guy. Okay. And so I'm like, where's Junior? He goes, he's in that RV over there. It was an RV repair place. Okay. So he's sitting in this huge RV, really comfortable, and he's watching a freaking thermometer. Okay. That's what was making me wait. So I just go in there and I say, hey, Junior, how's it going? He says, "Oh, it'll be a little bit, but just give me a couple." I'm like, no problem. It's been a rough morning already. I've already been peed on by a cat. I'm just going to sit in this nice leather chair. Okay,
Nice.
take your time. I never got paid so fast in my life.
I bet he popped right up like a jack in the box.
Yep, paid me. And, he was really much better about paying promptly after that. So, anyway.
So mine isn't even in the salon. It was clients of mine, though. It was a client that owned two large hairy St. Bernards. This was like 20 years ago. And the one was like 200 pounds. And not because it should have been. It's because it was the clients that, oh, the parents are this big. My dog should be this big. And he was 2 to 3 times the size width wise. He was like a walking coffee table. So they're like, hey, would you come over and house sit? I'm like, eh. So mind you, obviously always drooling. Another St. Bernard. I was desperate, needed money. Sure, why not? I love the dogs. Go there. Their house had no air conditioning in August. Teeny tiny house with 2 St. Bernards.
Well,
Con- constantly drooling. I walked around with a towel wrapped around my waist for 4 days. And 20 years ago, they paid me $100 a day. And that was mainly, and I only had to do it for 4 days. It was like counting down. But yes, so no AC, tiny house, 2 overweight St. Bernards, constantly drooling, and their house just reeked. And yes, so that was my 4 days of, yeah, there's my drool story. That's like the worst. I wore a towel
that's a
the
nightmare.
whole entire time.
I know. A towel
Yeah.
suit.
Yeah, everything, head to tail. So that's my drill story. So gross, but they were really lovely dogs. I loved them to pieces. I would never own them or do that again.
All right. So, we actually have a topic tonight. All right. Which is,
Dog drool was one of the topics.
It's
It
Uh-huh.
is. It's in the
Right
thing.
there. It says
Yeah.
on the thing.
okay. So, we have another topic tonight.
Mhm.
And I'm calling it Plan Bs, but, groomer adjacent. Okay. So, this is a very, very physical job. And we were discussing this before we even went live. It is, I think, too physical a job to not love what you're doing.
Mhm.
Okay. So, what happens if you don't love what you're doing? Okay. But there's a couple of issues now trying to like move over to another job. Okay. One is you've invested a lot of time in grooming. So the money that you make has to kind of be taken into consideration. You've been in this industry, 10, 15, 20 years, and you've invested money in your education, whether it's in drips and drabs, at trade shows, whatever, right? There's this education that happened, right? And to try to go into another industry, all right, you're basically starting off at the bottom,
Mhm.
right? Because you don't have the training. That's sort of like me saying, you know what, I'm really tired of this. I think I'm going to go be an engineer. Do you know what? I don't really know too much about being an engineer. I might have to go back to school. And I most certainly am not going to make the same dollar amount coming out of school and just starting a job that I was, vested in for a while. So those are considerations
Right.
when you're looking to like move to the side, like not be a groomer. I've seen groomers become nurses,
Real estate is big as well.
real estate.
Mhm.
Something that you could do in under a year as a trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that can be invested in. Some people want to get all the way out of it. I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know a life without dogs. I wouldn't know how to act. So my plan B is what I'm doing now, and I can't imagine. But I know that there are people. I know I'm not an island, and everything just happens on my island. Some people don't enjoy it while they're doing it, and they want to get out after a couple of 5-year pieces.
all
I
right, but
know one grooming adjacent ish, like some of the same skill sets, though different, would be like animal control.
Hmm.
Um,
That would be horrifying, though. That
Right?
would be horrifying.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the same things that would contribute to burnout as a groomer would
Mhm.
just make it even worse as animal
Right.
control.
Mhm.
Right, but the person that had posted, it wasn't a burnout thing. It's just that she fell into grooming, and it was never something she really loved doing. But she had invested the time to learn, so she was looking for to kind of matriculate into something else similar that she could use her skills with.
Mhm.
So it wasn't a burnout thing. It was just a,
Yeah.
I don't really love the job.
Mhm.
So
What I did suggest is probably find a reception at
Yeah.
a high-end grooming salon that really, a busy high-end salon needs a really good receptionist who understands the grooming world. And
Yeah.
if you are all that in a bag of chips, I can't see that pay it probably wouldn't be as much as grooming, but it would be better than just a regular receptionist job. We pay our receptionist very well. She is very schooled and does everything and makes it run like a smooth oiled machine. And that's what you really want. And somebody who's a groomer who wants to not groom and do reception work is like the cherry on the cake.
Mhm.
Well, there's also, speaking, going along those lines, okay. Besides being a receptionist, say in a high end, but that may not be something like readily available. Um, Possibly offering a service that we as groomers need. Okay, virtual assistants,
Yeah.
virtual
Social
scheduling.
media person or
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
Oh, and actually, if you did virtual scheduling, you probably could make groomer money because you could have 3
yeah.
different clients.
right.
Yeah.
3,
More than
5, as
one.
many as you
Mhm.
could
Handle.
handle,
Yeah.
yeah,
because you would know what you would know what goes into it.
Mhm.
But look, and we were saying before we hit go live, I don't want to say, I don't want to gatekeep and say you have to be passionate about grooming to be a groomer. You
Mhm.
have to follow your bliss if this is your bliss and nobody else could be a groomer. I'm not saying that. But what we're saying is this is too hard a job not to love. Like it's
True.
just not an easy job.
Yeah,
No.
you gotta love it to be really good at it. You gotta love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to love dogs. You have to love them a lot
Mhm.
because
and
there is drool and poop and pee and eye boogers on your glasses. It's gonna
Yes.
happen.
And other bodily fluids.
Other,
and other
Another
bodily-
buddy.
And
yeah.
yeah. So what are some of the other, like I was saying, vet tech? Even though the skills are very different, at least there's a basis for what normal is.
Mhm.
Like
And
you
it's
understand.
medically, and it might be something that you would enjoy adjacent to the grooming part of it. Absolutely.
So what bookkeeping accountant? See, now that sounds like a hellscape to me.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, I would die.
Numbers are but maybe
Yeah.
she's got numbers. I don't know. I don't really know them. I
Right.
just
And some people are suited for that. Some
Mhm.
people are really happy with numbers. So
some people like them. I cannot live without a calculator by my side all the time.
and I see people all the time make a successful transfer into some kind of entrepreneurship type of deal. They'll sell
Yeah.
supplements or they'll go into products, and be a rep for somebody.
Well,
Or do something
Vendor.
like that. Yeah, a
yeah,
vendor. So you
do
still have the
retail or
knowledge
product.
and you're
Yeah.
still educating, but you're not directly working with the dogs and being hairy all day and whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities if you make them. And I'm huge on making your opportunity. I'm not one to just, what's in the help wanted section. I decide what I'm going to do, and then I do that. I pursue that, and then change when I need to, and adapt when I need
And
to.
maybe you're excellent at business. Maybe you're great
Right.
at running the salon.
Mhm.
So you're someone who could own 2 salons
Mhm.
and run them and manage them and just not groom every day.
Right.
Yeah.
and be a wizard at ordering and production numbers and crunching all that stuff and making it work and keeping your clients and your employees happy, that would be great. People are good at that. And then you don't have to be hairy all the time and, all
Well,
that stuff.
and as I start to transition into a lot of things and I get older and I love grooming, that's actually something that I'm finding as a passion is having both actually 3 locations and managing them. Like I love watching them grow. I love problem solving. It's fun for me, and to constantly tweak my business to see what I can keep getting out of it too.
And let's not forget that it's not just a loss of passion, or maybe it never was a passion. It also could be as simple as I'm getting too old for this shit.
True.
I'm not ready to retire, but I'm ready to not do this physical job every single day.
Like if you have like 2 rotator cuffs that are torn.
Maybe.
Or you don't want to be
Maybe
all
if
the way
your arm
broken
doesn't do
and
this.
have 2 surgeries on your wrists. Like me, I don't want to go into. I stopped before I needed all that. I was there at the breaking point. I was like, no, if I continue, I can see my future. And I wanted to change that future, but still stay doing what I love to do, which is mixing stuff and helping dog skin and, giving unwarranted advice to people who don't want it. That's my favorite.
It's fun. I mean, I retired at 57, and again, I saw the surgeries on the horizon, and I needed to stop doing it. But for me, I was fairly fortunate that the writing hadn't been yet on the wall, but my husband had chronic medical conditions, and the last thing we needed was 2 broken down people. So I started my plan B really long time ago.
Right.
Okay. And so then there's education. I mean, that's another option too. But here's the thing, and I think Angie and I were discussing this the other day. That is still another industry. Teaching, even if it's in the same industry, it is a different industry.
Yeah, and you have to love that as well.
Yeah.
And you have the knowledge how to do it, how to do it properly.
Teachers go to school for 4, 8, and 12 years. Right? And still probably don't make as much money as a groomer.
Right.
In the public school system, okay?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay? But there is a way to teach, and just because you're really, really good at something, it doesn't mean that you're teaching properly.
Right.
Okay? That is another skill set. All right. And it's not a skill set that you can't learn. You can learn anything. All right. But there is a skill set, and which is why, and I got, 2 graduates of Create That program right here. Okay. Why I have that it's now a membership rather than a coaching program to make it more accessible, because one of the things I want to, and my time in the industry is limited. I mean, the clock's not ticking just yet on the wall, but it's getting there. I want to leave the industry better than I got it. I want to leave the industry with really good instructors. Okay. So anyway, there's a lot you can do that is groomer adjacent. And also, you know what, if it's not what you want to do, and it's fine, because how many people entered the grooming industry as a second career? You could reverse that too.
Yeah.
All right. If there is something you want to do, I'm going to tell you do it. My daughter Amanda, who is, she still grooms on the side, but she didn't want to do it anymore. Okay, she had bad employers, and she was kind of tired of it. So she kept a couple of good clients, and she's working as a machinist and has union benefits.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know what? And she's happy doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't just limit your plan B as to working animal adjacent unless you really love it, because you probably have hidden skills that you haven't realized, and you could go into any number of different things, to make your living or to find joy or do whatever it is that you want to do. And I think saving space to not only think about what you're going to do, but once you do pinpoint, okay, this is what I'm going to do, you have to make space in your life for that to happen. You
Yeah.
can't continue doing what you're doing and go, well, someday, and then there's 10 more dogs on the book. Someday. You actually have to not have 10 dogs on the books. You have to have maybe 2, and then only
No,
twice a week, or whittle it down and make room in your life for that new venture.
or you just got to quit cold turkey.
Yeah.
Like
And I
last day
worked.
is
Well,
April 1st.
we've got a date set.
April 1st is my last day. I have no other animals booked past April 1st.
Yeah, sometimes that's exactly how I did it too. I had set a date, and I didn't book anything after that. And let me tell you, leading up to it was terrible. Okay,
It's scary a little bit.
and
It's a little
It is.
scary.
It was very scary.
It
it's a
is.
little scary, especially when you're launching another business that not quite 100% tested yet. And then I say I always I say it took me 3 weeks. It took me 3 weeks to stop missing grooming. And because at that 3 week mark, my shoulder stopped hurting.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
I was actually able to sleep on the side that I want to
Oh,
sleep
I feel
on.
that so hard. I do.
Oh my God, right? You know what you want? I want to sleep on this side. I can't sleep
It's true.
because my shoulder hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. And the first night I realized I slept on the shoulder, and I'm like, holy cow. And I'm like, you know what? I don't miss anybody anymore. It's been a pleasure.
Goodbye.
See you later, bye.
I wish you well.
And I had that moment when I left retail, and I want to say it was 2 to 3 weeks after I left retail, and I got out of bed and I put my feet on the floor and I went,
And they
my
didn't
feet
hurt.
don't hurt.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. I still have 4 clients in the salon a year, if that tells you how much I've cut back. But they're dogs that only I can handle for whatever reason. I've dedicated the rest of their lives to their care. And I have one home client, and she's really more of a friend than anything. So
Hey, Amber,
that's it.
I started my business April 15th, tax day. And over the years, it was really great day because that's 1 year anniversary. Hey, I just had my taxes done. My accountant says I need to raise my prices. So I'm
And you're like, watch this.
Uh-huh.
so sorry.
Mhm.
Well, many years ago, I was taking Joey Villani's class, and I take notes in every class that I do, and I keep the notebooks. They're in the filing cabinet. That's actually
I know
right
they are, and they're alphabetical too, I bet. Or ordered by date, or both. I don't know.
Or yes.
by year. So I go through them from time to time to see if something sparks or if I've forgotten something or something like that. So when I was opening my business, I was going over all the business classes that I'd taken. And in Joey's class, he said, you keep a sign up that says, as of this date, there will be a price increase due to rising costs. Thank you, the management. So we were open 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. And so I was like, okay, that Joey says, so I did that, and I typed up the sign and made it all nice, and I trimmed it in red, and he said, put it in a frame. So I was like, okay. So I went to Walmart and I got a frame, and that sign has been in my business since we opened, that January 1st, there will be a price increase due to rising costs. Now we opened February 1st. So it was fair warning, it's a year from now. And so everybody just came in for their January appointment and said, so how much more will that be? And like nary a fuss or a kerfluffle. And it's been that way every year since.
Because it's posted all the time. 24/7. There it
And
is.
it even has the date on it on the bottom.
Mhm.
So it actually says like February 20 something of, and
Mhm.
it says on the bottom when it was posted. And
1957.
yeah, and nobody has ever complained about it, ever. And they're like, oh, no, I understand. Because they understand that the price of everything else has gone up.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Our groceries have gone up. Everything else has gone up. So having that, and it's eye level when you walk in the door.
Oh, nice.
So you walk in and it's trimmed in red.
Mhm.
So they're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Mhm.
And I swear it's the
Okay,
only
so
sign anybody in my salon has ever read.
Fair, fair. All kinds of shenanigans go on, but they do know they're paying more every
Uh-huh.
January.
all right, so we're gonna wrap this up now. We still have Angie's weird animal fact, which we'll get to in a minute. Now, I will not be here next week because even though groom doesn't start until Thursday, I'm leaving for Atlanta on Tuesday because my daughter lives in Atlanta. So I won't be here next Tuesday.
We'll be here.
We'll be here.
We'll be here.
Okay. So on that note, we got Angie's weird animal fact.
Angie's Weekly Weird Fact.
The most dogs ever owned by one person, which were all mastiffs, by the way. These weren't varied things. They were all mastiffs. There were 5,000 of them in total. Could you imagine feeding those? And it was Kubla Khan.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, that's
Angie's
believable.
Weekly Weird Fact.
So here's
Okay.
the
I
dealio.
love
Let me
that.
just give the quick rundown. He had 5,000 mastiffs because at the time he used to use them as what was called a vanguard.
Mhm.
So the dogs were in barding, which is essentially male,
Type
like
of armor.
armor.
Spikes and whatnot.
Yep.
Mhm.
So the dogs would wear a helmet that had spikes going all the way around it and a large spike on the top. They additionally, because of the way mastiffs run, because their legs don't pivot directly into, but their legs go out like that when they run, they had spikes on the back of their front legs so that they would send the vanguard out first. They were fighting infantry. The dogs would jump up onto the people, and the weight and force of their jumping on the guy would drive the spikes into the man who was generally wearing leather.
Mhm.
And it
Ouch.
would push through the leather and pretty much take out a whole big bunch of them. And they would just let the dogs go. And the dogs weren't really doing anything other than jumping on them
Being dogs.
and being dogs. So, but they would decimate a good 10% of any army they faced simply by being dogs.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Depending on my level of skill, if I'm just some poor schmuck infantryman and a couple thousand mastiffs are charging in my direction,
And Julie got that?
Julie got
Come out. Come out.
Full circle.
I'm 100% going, I don't get paid enough for this shit, and effing directly off in the other direction.
Well,
Yeah,
you probably
a
just
wall.
get killed by your superiors.
While you're standing there with a
Or
pitchfork,
the dog. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
I have a pitchfork. There's 5,000 dogs coming wearing armor better than any
Yeah.
of us have.
Yeah, I
Why
can't.
don't we go home?
Yeah.
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 Bye.
Yeah,
Those
at that
are
point,
certainly different times.
you got one superior and a couple hundred, very upset dudes in leather going, we don't get paid enough for this nonsense.
The craziest thing is Genghis Khan, that came
Mhm.
before Kublai Khan, his DNA can actually be found in almost 98% of the people in Asia.
Mhm.
He's that prolific. Yeah.
98%.
And nobody knows where he's buried because everybody got killed. Everyone got killed, and then the people that killed the people that they didn't want to know, they offed themselves before they got to their destination.
So because he didn't want his grave to be desecrated.
And they've never found it.
Nope.
Mhm.
All right, so we've confused Katrina. This is actually a bunch of dog groomers, by the way, just so that you know. If this is the first time that you're watching.
It started with dog drool, Katrina. I
Yeah.
promise.
It started with dog drool.
Started with dog drool and ended with every week I do my weekly weird fact. So it's some random weird animal fact. And it just so happened it lined up beautifully with the beginning of the show. That was dog drool and ends with 5,000 Mastiffs being owned by Kuba Khan, who were all big drooly dogs.
See?
Okay. Okay, that being said, I think maybe we wrap this up. And 4 of the 5 will be here next week. Yeah, Katrina's like, oh, okay.
That
I'll
makes
roll with
total
that.
sense.
We'll see if she's back next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, we're done.
She's like, wow, they're really weird.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So,
yeah, we own that.
On that note, have a nice evening, everybody.
Bye.
And the live stream itself will be back next week.